a motion?
I'm looking for a motion.
I move that we adopt option 1B on 34, which is to approve the project, the transmission line, subject to acquisition of the ROE and report to demonstrate that the rights of way have been
Subject to acquisition of ROE.
acquisition of the rights of way. Should I start over again? Including a requirement to report to the siting board that the rights of way have been acquired.
Is there a second for the motion?
I'd second that.
Discussion? Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, let's move on to zoning. Zoning, the request for zoning exemptions. And I'd like to start with a discussion of the public convenience and welfare requirement, because depending on the outcome of that discussion, we will either have to or won't have to address the need for the specific zoning exemptions. I need a motion to start, we need a motion to start that conversation. Mr. Hibbert?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the zoning exemption requests.
Is there a second for that?
Second.
Could you want to start the discussion?
An issue I thought I would raise in the context of this discussion is, in order for us to come to a conclusion, a public convenience and necessity conclusion, we need to balance the costs and benefits of the proposed facility. And I, for one, am unpersuaded that there really are any benefits unique to this facility. And the reason I'm unpersuaded has to do, I think, with the fact that simply if this plant is not built, there are 10,000 megawatts of additional, gas-fired combined cycle, or maybe not all combined cycle, but there's, the regional market for electricity has produced development interest in a magnitude that's large enough to meet any reliability needs the region may have, in a way that's likely to produce environmental benefits that are identical to the ones that the petitioner has claimed will come from this facility associated with displacement of emissions. So I think the petitioner has failed to demonstrate benefits unique to this facility that would lead us to want to grant exemption from local zoning requirements.
Madam Chairman, I just want to ask if someone will be able to be heard on this once the board deliberates.
No, I think you've already been heard.
Actually, we were not heard on the zoning issues. There
Well,
weren't
you
any
had an
questions.
opportunity to be heard. I'll decide after we've heard board
Thank you.
deliberation.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I'd just add in support of Member Hibbert's comments and support the fact that also the concerns that were expressed on the record relative to the potential unreliability or stability, if you will, of the forward capacity market assets or resources that are being added to the grid in fact, do reflect strongly and are equivalent to the power plant by virtue of ISO New England's view and qualification of those assets similar to a power plant. So again, I just feel it is not unique and does not rise to the level of test for a public convenience and necessity.
Mr. Collins?
I have a question for Mr. Hibbert about, if you could just expand a little bit more on the 10,000 megawatts that are available?
Sure. The petitioner has demonstrated or has asserted that there will be emission benefits associated with dispatching this facility and displacing the operation of generation that is essentially higher in the bid stack within the region, and so producing environmental benefits. They've also asserted that another benefit associated with this facility is that it'll improve the reliability or be a reliable, contribute to the reliability of supply of electricity in the region. In the record, we have the 2008 Regional System Plan for ISO New England, and it identifies both what the need for power will be over the next 10 years. And when you look at that, ultimately we don't, just to be a little specific about this, Table 5.5 on page 44 of Regional System Plan 2008, and I'm sorry, I don't know what exhibit this is, highlights the fact that we, and this is again based upon the April 2008 load forecast of ISO that I think we all recognize may be higher than what ultimately we're likely to face. It shows a need that doesn't arise for new power that doesn't arise until 2014 on the order of 7 megawatts, and ultimately grows to less than 1,000 megawatts by 2017. So that's the need we have for power. If you look at some of the information on the resources that are sitting in the ISO generation interconnection queue, it adds up to, in total, well over 10,000 megawatts and over 10,000 megawatts of gas-fired generation, and the majority of that generation is combined cycle gas-fired generation. That's probably at least as efficient or very close to being as efficient as the proposed facility here. So recognizing, of course, that the interconnection queue, all the generation in the interconnection queue will not come to fruition. Obviously, it's only some portion of that. In the past, I think it's been, over the past 10 years, something like a third or a half of those generation facilities in the queue have actually made it through the development process. So all 10,000 or more than 10,000 will not ultimately be developed within the region, but certainly the magnitude of generation that will move through the development phase is well in excess of any identified need for the next 10 years. So that's one piece. The other piece is it's likely to involve significant contributions from demand resources to meeting our capacity needs, but also from renewable generation, and then third, from efficient gas-fired combined cycle generation. So it's hard for me to imagine that there is a unique environmental benefit associated with adding this particular facility to the region, because its effect in displacing less efficient or more polluting generation is an effect that we're almost certain to see by whatever generation comes online if this facility doesn't. So, and then the one final point on this is there was some discussion about whether or not the situation in Lower SEMA warrants ascribing reliability benefits to this particular facility, and I think the record does not provide evidence supporting that. And in fact, that the facility itself is outside Lower SEMA, so there's no reason to believe it can provide that there's any additional reliability benefit associated with this particular facility as compared to any other facility that might be brought online in Massachusetts and Connecticut that are sitting in the ISO interconnection queue now.
Thank you.